And I saw you on the team. Right. Miss Marco, she's the kind of right. We had last night. Yes. What's the number of the I can't read that right now, so if it comes up. Huh? I am ready when I'm not going to keep Prime Minister waiting.
Good morning. Good morning, Honorable Prime Minister, Chairman of the Caribbean Community, ambassadors to the Caribbean community, and to the general public listening in to this installation ceremony of the 8th Secretary-General of the Caribbean Community, Dr. Carla Barnett. To begin the morning's proceedings, I would like to invite the Chair of the Caribbean Community, the Honorable Gaston Brown, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, to address us. Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, distinguished Chairman. Let me start by acknowledging Her Excellency Dr. Carla Barnett, Secretary-General, staff members of the Secretariat, all those following these proceedings on the various e-platforms, and the good people of CARICOM. Today's installation ceremony represents a spirit of continuity of the leadership of our community.
It is an
of the baton to new hands.
My thing is saying not connected, no connections are available. Does the computer?
My colleagues, I think we're having some interruptions here. I don't know if we can remedy that.
Everyone, please mute your mic. Will you please mute your mic?
That's what the message.
Colleagues, can we remedy?
Yes, we have. It's okay now.
Right. Yeah, I was saying that I understand that a member of the Secretariat passed. And, you know, we had the recent passing of Celeste as well, who served the community very well. I'm not sure if you'd want to have a minute silence now or after my presentation.
It will be appropriate now, Prime Minister. A minute silence in respect to the passing of Sylvester Bird, national hero of Antigua and Barbuda, and Ms. Jean Kennedy, former Deputy Program Manager, Conference Services here at the CARICOM Secretariat. Thank you, Prime Minister. You now resume.
Thank you again. And again, I acknowledge Dr. Carla Barnett, the Secretary-General, and all of the other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, including those who are joining us on the various e-platforms. Today's installation ceremony represents the spirit of continuity of the leadership of our community and the passing of the baton to new hands. On behalf of all the member states and on behalf of the CARICOM heads of government, and with my best wishes as chairman, I pray for your successful term in office, and I welcome you to the position of CARICOM Secretary-General. As you rejoin this noble endeavor of Caribbean integration, I know that you bring vast expertise and experience to this position. Your previous years as Assistant Secretary-General obviously place you in an ideal position to hit the ground running. As the first female CARICOM Secretary-General, I know that you will succeed in demonstrating to the world that talent resides in both sexes equally, and that the leadership of our regional institutions is open to those talented sons and daughters who bring the requisite skills to the table. As I welcome you to the position of CARICOM Secretary-General, I must also acknowledge the sterling contribution of your immediate predecessor, Ambassador Erwin Larocque of the Commonwealth of Dominica. Erwin's unflappable spirit and quiet tenacity served us well, especially most recently in these COVID times, when some decision makers succumbed to panic and indecision. I note in passing that both Ambassador Larocque and you, Excellency, are from member states, Dominica and Belize respectively, and that citizens of these states have never before held the position of Secretary-General. So again, I extend congratulations. I mentioned that your previous experience in senior leadership at the Secretariat places you in a position to hit the ground running. Well, given the varied challenges that confront governance in CARICOM and the wider world today, I am certain that you will have to hit the ground running. As you take the urgent and impactful issues that confront our community on a day-to-day basis, as you tackle them, I want you to know that your chairman stands with you at all times. I look forward to your sage advice, and I undertake to place myself at your disposal at all times. You'll find that I am very available and accessible, and certainly everyone here in Antigua and Barbuda already seems to have my phone number. And I regard the CARICOM Secretariat as a piece of Antigua and Barbuda in Georgetown. So please feel free to call whenever you wish. Secretary-General, starting today, our first order of business and our top priority will be Haiti. Haiti is now suffering under the most recent humanitarian crisis brought on by Saturday's earthquake. The earthquake and the attendant massive loss of life are painful reminders of the political, economic, and social tragedies that have beset Haiti since its new history began in 1804. As chairman of CARICOM, I believe that the time has come to change the trajectory of Haiti, and we must establish measures in collaboration with Haiti's political directorate and the international community that will allow Haiti to make a fundamental change of direction. That is a longer-term goal, but for now, we must bind up our nation's wounds and mobilize assistance to meet the immediate humanitarian needs. I've been in contact with Haiti's Prime Minister, His Excellency Ariel Henry, in recent days, and I have pledged our support for the Haitian people and would have indicated that we continue to stand in solidarity with our Haitian brothers and sisters. In addition to Haiti, many other challenges to the community lie ahead. We're still in the middle of the global COVID pandemic, with countries all over the world experiencing their third, fourth, and fifth waves of infections. In the region, we have to tackle the twin contradictory issues of access to vaccines, as well as vaccine hesitancy among our populations. And we must not be daunted by these challenges. We are compelled to triumph over this murderous pandemic. In many of our member states, the percentage of our population that has been fully vaccinated is still unacceptably low. And there is great risk that we will not reach herd immunity in very many months. We need to correct this, and we have to continue to stand together to fight the issue of vaccine hesitancy, which is perhaps the most significant threat to the region at this time. We need to refloat our economies while keeping our people safe and to place ourselves in a position to take advantage of the spike in tourism demand that several member states are currently experiencing. Now, the work of finalizing the terms of the CSME remains to be done, and it must be done quickly if CARICOM is to retain the confidence of the people in our member states. I'm also of the view that we need generally to reassess our methods of work at the level of the Conference of Heads and at other levels as well, always looking for peak efficiency. There's no doubt that we have to make the CSME operational and to increase our level of functional cooperation so that we could have a more effective CARICOM region. It is my intention to raise these matters with you and to strive for ways in which we can make the machinery of CARICOM run more smoothly. It is absolutely important that we increase or improve the machinery of CARICOM for the benefit of all member states, especially considering the various challenges that we have to confront at this time. And those challenges are not limited to COVID and climate change, but they continue to, these challenges continue to confront our respective member states and the region as a whole. At the earliest opportunity, I wish to invite you and your senior team to St. John's for deeper consultations on the serious work that lies ahead. I've never shirked hard work, and I believe that energy unused is energy wasted. So I want to encourage all of us to increase our energy levels in terms of the energy that we utilize to get the work of CARICOM done, to make the work of CARICOM equally important, not to confine all of our energies at the national level, but to also ensure that we utilize our skills, our expertise, our energy in advancing the work of CARICOM. As we get down to the business of managing our regional integration process, let us remember that the work is hard, but the rewards are great for the people of our region who deserve no less. So clearly we have to put issues of insularity behind us. We have to cooperate and to understand that we are better off working together and that we will be more vulnerable if we continue to pursue our own individual agenda. So let us use this opportunity with the installment of our new Secretary-General to recommit ourselves to the work of CARICOM and to advance the integration movement. Finally, I say once again, welcome, Secretary-General. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. We invite the 8th Secretary-General of the Caribbean Community, Dr. Carla Barnett, to address us.
Good morning, everyone. Honorable Gaston Brown, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda and Chair of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community, members of the CARICOM Committee of Ambassadors, staff of the Secretariat, staff of regional institutions, representatives of the media who are online, and people of the community. It is with deep pride and a sense of humility that I take this seat as the 8th Secretary-General of the Caribbean Community. Let me express my appreciation to you, Mr. Chairman, and your colleague heads of government for the trust and confidence you have placed in me by selecting me for this post. I take up this position today against the backdrop of a devastating earthquake in Haiti, the impact of which will be made worse by the rains associated with Tropical Depression Grace, which is already affecting the country. I reiterate the community's condolences with the government and people of Haiti and to the relatives of those who lost lives in this terrible disaster. I also wish a speedy and full recovery to those who were injured. Haiti can be assured that the community will do all it can to assist in this time of national crisis. Chair, I must also acknowledge the contribution which my predecessor, Ambassador Erwin Larocque, has made to the advancement of our integration movement. For the last 16 years, the first 6 as Assistant Secretary General and the last 10 as Secretary General, he devoted himself to the task of making integration work for the benefit of the people of the community. On behalf of the community, thank you, Ambassador Larocque. I am certain that the community will find an appropriate way to honor your long contribution. Chair, I begin my tenure with no misapprehensions about the severity of the challenges that our community faces economically, socially, environmentally, and financially. The thrust to build resilience against the existential threat of climate change in all its dimensions, and the urgency of constructing a recovery from the adverse effects of the COVID-19 pandemic demand our continued focused energy. Even as we address these critical tasks, we cannot afford to neglect youth unemployment, which has led the explosion of the jobless in the wake of COVID-19. A troubling rise in crime, especially violent crime in the home and on the streets, the need to strengthen food security, reduce the incidence of non-communicable diseases, and more effectively address the issue of blacklisting by the major industrial countries and the consequential loss of correspondent banking relations. All of these affect the lives and livelihoods of each and everyone in our community. It is therefore incumbent on all of us to be engaged in finding solutions and taking action to overcome these obstacles in our path to a secure, viable, and ultimately sustainably prosperous community for all. There is no doubt that the innate sense of community in the people of the region, which manifests itself in both our brightest and our darkest days. We all enjoy our successes in sport, celebrating across the region the recent victories in the Olympic Games. We all celebrate our cultural icons, and with the same spirit of oneness, we do all that we can to help our sisters and our brothers when disasters strike. I see that wellspring of unity as a source of strength to be tapped in all areas as I embark on this journey. To build on and maintain that strength will require that my team and I reach out on a regular basis to explain, to exhort, to inform, to educate, so that all will feel a part of the whole that constitutes CARICOM. And I am CARICOM will mean much more than a catchy slogan. We will invite community stakeholders in all sectors, including the media, to reach out to the Secretariat, letting us know their fears, their concerns, their vision for the future of the community, and telling us how they feel they can contribute to continue the building of our community. This must be our mantra as we seek to build a truly integrated, inclusive, and resilient community that is driven by knowledge, excellence, innovation, and productivity, where every citizen is secure with guaranteed human rights and social justice, and contributes to and shares in its economic, social, and cultural prosperity, a community which is unified and competitive in the global arena. This is the vision stated in the community's 2015-2019 strategic plan, and it is one that continues to be very relevant. As we approach the 50th anniversary of our Caribbean community, the time is right for us to set achievable goals that would make the celebration truly golden. Much has been achieved in the past 48 years. A lot of it is taken for granted today, to the extent that some are not even associated with the integration movement. The stories of success must be continuously shared across our community to serve as a constant reminder of what we can achieve with a unity of purpose. A generation past put in place a solid foundation and institutions relevant to the needs of the region at that time. It is now the turn of another generation, not only to secure and improve on those gains, but to use the creativity, ingenuity, and dynamism that are the signature characteristics of Caribbean people to reimagine the next 50 years of CARICOM. As we build on the work of those who came before, space has to be created for new thinking, not only to solve the problems of the present, but to outline new paths for the future of our integration process. How can we close the implementation gap? Is the single ICT space or the blue economy or both the remedy to our collective economic ills? How do we participate as effectively as we can in the ongoing efforts to reach agreement globally on containing global warming to 1.5 to stay alive? How do we productively use, for the benefit of the wider community, the relatively abundant lands of our continental member states? No one has all the answers. No one has all the ideas. That is why all must be involved. I see a Caribbean community that the average citizens of the region will feel a part of and not apart from. A community where all citizens want to contribute to building this sense of one Caribbean people with one common experience and destiny. Chair, I cannot conclude without paying tribute to the late Celeste Bird, whose contribution to the development of Antigua and Barbuda and the region will not be forgotten. Celeste was a committed regionalist who dedicated significant time and effort towards the advancement of the interests of the Caribbean community. He may have been a fast bowler, but his innings in life was played very well. Please accept the condolences of the community, the staff of the Secretariat, and my own on his passing. May I also take this opportunity to extend wishes for a full and speedy recovery to Dr. the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, from his injury following the recent despicable attack. Such violent actions have no place in our political discourse or in society generally, and must be condemned unreservedly. Chair, as I assume this office today, I approach my task with a willingness to listen and to share, with goodwill towards all and malice towards none. I am here to serve, to advance the interests of the governments and peoples of the Caribbean community, and I will do so to the best of my ability. I thank you very much.
Yeah, the podium. We are requesting everyone who has their video on to turn it off and just leave the videos for the Secretary General and the Chairman.